Page 30, Treadmill Blues. Blues is a style of music, like jazz or classical or rock and roll or whatever. Blues is a style of music. At the top of the page, they talk about the 12-bar blues pattern. Just briefly, I mean, if you're into writing, you want to write blues, you can use this 12-bar blues pattern. You'll be just fine. There's other things, but this is a good start. All right. The idea is blues generally uses the primary chords. 1, 4, and the 5. Although technically blues is going to use 7 chords throughout. So it'd be a 1, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7, all that. But for our purposes, we're going to do the 1, 4, and maybe the 5, 7. We'll stick with the primary chords we've had. So this is in the key of C major. So let's just review. C major is the white keys. The one chord is the C chord. The 4 chord is the F chord. And the 5 chord is the G chord. Or 5, 7, G7. Those are the primary chords. And those basically are the chords we're going to use in blues, more or less. A 12-bar, well, let's review what a bar is because it has different meanings. For our purposes here, a bar is a measure. Same difference. So you get a certain number of measures or bars with each of these chords. At the beginning, we get 4 measures of 1 chord. Look at the left hand here. You get the C chord. And all the way across that, it's more or less a C chord. There's some accidentals and other notes, but the point is it's a C chord pretty much. It's 4 measures of 1 chord. And then you get 2 measures of 4 chord, whatever 4 is. The F, 2 measures of F. In the second line, the first 2 measures, that's F, that's the 4 chord. And then you get 2 more measures of 1 chord. And then you get 1 measure of the 5 or 5, 7, 1 measure of 4, and 2 measures of 1. And that's the chord sequence of a 12-bar blues pattern. If you want to write blues, follow that sequence, you've got it. 4 measures of a 1 chord, 2 measures of a 4, 2 of a 1, and then a 1 of a 5, a 4, and then 2 of a 1. That's just a chord sequence for blues. You'll see it in a lot of blues pieces. You can Google it and read all about blues and 12-bar blues patterns and all that. Okay. I want to talk about this treadmill and what it's up to. I'll look it over. It's 3 lines long. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature. We are in the key of C major, so make sure you're doing the scale for C major and A minor. Both. Go ahead and do the arpeggios too. 1 octave up and down on the arpeggios. I got a playlist on that, and that link is in the description too. And common time or 4/4 time. We have accidentals everywhere, which you would expect with blues, because it uses what's known as a blues scale. Remember, a scale is a set pattern of whole steps and half steps. The blues scale is simply a different pattern. I don't teach it, but there's plenty of people on YouTube that do if you're interested in learning about blues scales. I'm just going to play this piece and put in the accidentals where it says to. Right hand, their fingering is okay if you want to use the fingering in the book, it's fine. I have some suggestions though. I don't like crossing over the thumb as much as they do. Right hand is here, and they say 5, 3, 1, 3, 1. Just going 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Isn't that sweet? Don't have to. I can just do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Use all the fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got all of those in one hand position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and. That C's tied. Hang on to it and reach up. Do it again. 5, 4, 3. I got all those in one hand position. Second line, just come up here. It's basically the same pattern, but now it's a 4 chord. Here I'm going to use the thumb here because the black key, otherwise I'd end up with thumb on black key. I don't want to. So I'm going to use the black key here, or thumb here, and then cross over here, and then back to 4, 3, 2, 1. The last line, you're up here. 1 and 2 and. I hope the rhythm's okay for you, because when you get to this level, you really need to be able to read this rhythm. However, just in case, let's just take the last line for instance. If that throws you, you don't understand it, simply take out the ties and play all the notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. there. You just play all the notes, and when you can get an idea of that, you put the ties in. You just hang on to the note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's basically the rhythm. Left hand, well, it's basically the chords, but we're connecting them. 1, that's tied, so they hold it down for 7 counts, and they have a 1 here. That's okay. I mean, we don't have a real good fingering for this left hand. We're kind of stuck with this. I mean, I could do that. If you want, you can do a 5-3-2. Normally I'd do a 5-4-2, but I need the 4th finger in the next measure here. So I have to use 3. So I can go 1 here, and then that way I can go on. And lift here. I'd like to be able to connect that. And there's no real good fingering for that. So what I'm going to do is another fingering technique that we use. And again, some people hate this. They won't do it. But I do it, and I teach it. So at the end of the first line, you're here, and then here, here. I want to connect all that together. So what I'm going to use little finger for the D. I'm going to put the break there, because that's okay. It's okay to break it there. So I'm going to use little finger, 4, and then I'm going to slide off the key with the 4th finger. Use 4 again. I do this a lot. I just slide off a black key onto a white key when you need the same finger. Sure, why not? And that way I can use 3-2-1 for the chord. I can connect it. Here. That's what I'm going to do. You can use a fingering in your book, but if you do, you can't connect it. And then the second line is the 4 chord, and then come down. They say 4. And that's okay because we're using 3 here. Here. Now if it would help you, you can use 3 on the black key and then either 5-2-1 or 4-2-1, however you want to do it. Just connect the quarter note to the whole notes. And then lift up. Again, the last line, if you don't want to use 3rd finger here, because I got 4th finger here, you can use 2nd finger if it's easier for you. I want to connect them. And then here, and then here. That's sort of the left hand. It's a little tricky. So then I tried to put the hands together, and this could be interesting. Well, the left hand mainly just tied. It says here. Hold the C down. So I'm holding the right hand down as I do that, and then just lift up. I'm connecting that. I have to lift up. Anyway, you put the hands together. I already did. Then go back slowly, carefully, and get rid of the hesitations. Once I can do that, I'll think about the articulation. And here it's the phrasing, but it's kind of built in. Lift up. You have to lift up, you got to move. It's like taking a breath. The left hand, you connect it as best you can. If possible, in the left hand, when you have a quarter note going into a whole note, like between the 2nd and 3rd measure, the last beat, quarter note to the, connect that every time if you can. Try and connect it. It leads into it. 2 here's what we want. And feeling if you can. Once I have the articulation, then I think about the dynamics. It's P at the beginning is soft. That's the melody, it's the right hand. This, very soft. So I'm light. And I'm very light. Ooh, isn't this fun? Second line, you go up a little bit to sort of soft. Mezzo piano. Here, and this is still very soft. And the last line, you're very soft. How soft can you play it? And then go up to soft to finish it. You'll notice at the end, in the right hand, they put a tenuto mark over the 8th note. The last note, see? They want you to stress that a little bit. I would do it anyway. I don't need a mark. You see, it's syncopated. You're playing the last two measures. You expect just regular quarter notes. That's it. But I play the C sooner than I expected. See? Well, that's syncopation. And a lot of times in interpreting syncopation, we just accent the syncopated note. You just do it. These others, they put two neutrals on these. I'm just telling you, just accent the syncopated note. But each one, just give it a little extra stress. Not a lot, just a little. Then the speed, slowly and miserably. Well, isn't that appropriate? Okay. Don't go too slow, because it gets to be too miserable. It just drags. That just drags. It does not work on piano. Piano is too percussive for that. It's got a flow, but it's a slow flow. Just be miserable about it, I guess. I'm not sure. Now, a little bit about playing blues, the style of music. Blues, swing, and jazz, these all three styles are played similarly. And that is, we typically will swing the rhythm. So it's not 1 and 2 and 3 and. It's long short. 1 and 2 and 3. And you feel it. There's no notation for it. It's not a triplet rhythm. It's not a dotted rhythm, but it's very close. And it can go into either. You'll see a lot of triplets in this kind of thing because triplets are very close to the swung rhythm. You can kind of go into them. But this, think it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. All the way through. There's not a lot of eighth notes in here, but still swing them. 1 and 2 and 3. Also, as a style of blues playing, a lot of times when they hold out the note at the end, they'll build a fermata there, they'll hold out longer. You can pedal that note. So that C in the right hand, that it at the end, right after you play it, push the pedal down. And you hang on to that. That adds the overtones to that one note. Normally, I would say if you're not using pedal anywhere else, don't put it in at the end. But with blues, it's actually part of the style of the music. They'll add in that little overtone thing. I'm not going to show the pedal if that's, but if you want to add pedal at the end there, that's fine. I see nothing wrong with it. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any louds and softs. We're just playing notes and rhythms here. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and off.